games like there's no tomorrow.
Welcome to the BingKing podcast.
Okay. Hey everyone. I have Marshall and David back again on the podcast. Thank you for coming. All right. And today we're going to talk about, I guess, Marshall's on his way out, which I'm a little upset about.
Yeah.
Where are you headed?
Going to Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, excited for the magic scene over there. Hopefully it'll be good.
And David's here to talk a little bit about the new set and the cool new mechanic battles. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So I actually wanted to start with a little bit of history in the EDH group. Marshall and I have been in this group for a while. David was a little bit newer from when you came to after you came to Shanghai. But I don't know if Marshall, when did you start playing here?
Oh man, maybe like 2013, 14.
Mm-hmm. At which store? Do you remember?
It was Shao's store.
Mostly Cardmaster.
Yeah, Cardmaster.
Yeah. And then when that closed, it kind of put us all out. Like we didn't really know where to go.
Yeah, we were playing in that Champion that it was like a hidden in a mall or something,
right.
or not in like a apartment building.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a really strange place. And then there was the other place that was it was like in Shujiahui.
M3? No.
It's like up in a building.
Yeah.
Everyone's looks like a rundown building. You got to go like behind a truck. There's like a sign. You know what I'm talking about? I think it's in Shujiahui or
I don't remember. Doesn't matter.
TND or something maybe.
I really don't remember.
Sounds a little bit like WTF.
Oh, was it
Maybe.
WTF?
I think that's it. Yeah.
Oh, WTF was
Shintendi.
nowhere near Shintendi. Mine was a little bit. Okay. Yeah, WTF is kind of around the...
Yeah.
And then that closed down as well. But do you remember how we all kind of got together and started doing the rundown tea shop era?
I mean, we were just trying to find a place. We went to those different beer ladies.
Yeah.
For a long time. I remember going there and I'd accidentally knocked Trev's cards under the refrigerator, and I was
Really?
like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry." Yeah.
Really?
It was like that force shield card, whatever.
Force
it's
field.
Force field, yeah.
That's like
Force field.
$1,000
Yeah,
card.
knocked that under the
the
refrigerator, and I was like, "Shit." Yeah.
I'm sure he took that really well.
Yeah.
He did. I had not been drinking, thankfully. Yeah.
But I remember, those were some of my favorite moments in I guess, Shanghai Magic. I remember every week we would go and find, a new place to kind of play.
Yeah.
It was always, beer places, or I remember playing in a tea shop with Philip. It was
The
weird
Japanese
for a
tea
while.
shop?
I think it was. It was either Japanese or Chinese. We were...
Yeah, there was a tea shop and there was a room upstairs with it was really
Yeah.
crowded. It was I think the building was white.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
And we were playing in some weird places for a while.
Yeah.
And I guess my end conclusion was, I think to really keep a group going, you need three things, right? You need a good location that's always the same, a set time that everyone's always going to meet at,
Yeah.
and then I think what Trev does really well is the events.
Yeah.
I think if you have these three things, your group ends up really stable because
Yeah.
you have a set time, you have a set place, and
Yeah.
then things for people to look forward to.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed, do we need anything else really in particular that kind of helps the group stay alive?
I think you need a stable group of core people
Yeah.
who will make others feel welcome, so that when someone's new, they know they can get a game and it'll be fun,
Right.
and then they're more likely to come
To
again.
stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you've got at least 3 or 4 people who you recognize when you go, I think that's good.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I think having a set of friendly EDH rules is important too. New people coming into a CDH game or a really high powered game, and there's only those games. They're not gonna want to stay. We all have lower powered decks that just play to mess around, and I think that's important too. New people can get involved. It's when I was bad when I first started Magic, I had no idea. I was telling you guys I would just get crushed.
Yeah.
And playing Philip, he
Yeah.
played that the Spy Master or whatever deck.
Yeah.
And it's
Edric
just
of Spy-
infinite turns
Yeah.
forever.
Right.
And I'm like, this
Why am I
this
playing
sucks.
here?
Why am I doing
Yeah.
this? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Damn you, Philip.
Well, that's why we had him deported.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's why Yiming's gone
Yeah,
too.
yeah. They can't hurt you anymore, Marshall.
I've been rocking myself back to sleep.
Yeah, but I think the group, I mean, we went through some really hard times, and then we finally found kind of Shanghai Nerd Central, which is Cactus.
Yeah.
And then we kind of got stable. I was really happy that we had like a set place to, I guess, play. So I just want to go through, like, what are your favorite, I guess, ideal memories of the time that we've, I don't know, been here? Of your EDH kind of journey.
Man, maybe not my favorite memory, but the one I always remember the most was one time it was me, this other guy Torn is left, and then Scott, who played again. He was part of the original crew.
Yeah.
We were doing a draft at I don't even know what the card shop name is. We were doing a draft in the background and just drinking.
Yeah.
We had bottle of scotch, and then we came to meet up with Philip and Trev, and we were playing in this like back room. I had Saskia. That was my first deck that I had made.
Okay.
And I we were really drunk, and I was getting really upset at Philip with his just like, he was playing some like that white, it looked like a wind creature or something like that. It was two white, two colorless and a white, and I was like, you can't untap your lands or you can't untap creatures. It was a nasty deck, and I was getting so just like salty because of the scotch. And I finally won. I had like done a Defense of the Heart with a Haste Maker and or a double damage plus Heartless Hidego.
Okay.
And I won.
Uh-huh.
And I was like cheering so hard.
Yeah.
I was also really salty and drunk. Really drunk.
Do you remember the look on Philip's face?
He didn't think that it worked. And then it worked. Yeah.
There was his commander Kataki, the War's Rage.
I don't remember at all.
It just sounds like a salt-inducing mono-white commander.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't let you untap things.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was mana white. It was just like, it was a stacks commander, and I had not been used to playing against stacks.
Right.
Yeah.
Anything that pops to mind in like your time in Shanghai, playing with us? Favorite memory?
Favorite moment?
Yeah.
I'll have to make it about Marshall as well, because Marshall's
I have one for Marshall as well.
Okay.
So I've had a few fun games with Marshall. I've made Marshall quite angry once or twice.
Really?
Yeah, with Reki. You look like Reki that time, did you?
I guess I was upset because I didn't bring enough power. I was like, dang, why did I?
And that's that feeling, right? You mentioned there when you feel like a new player coming if they're going to get stomped. Like that was a tournament I seem to remember. But my favourite moments with Marshall is he always has some ways to save himself.
Yeah.
Or just something, and he'll always basically survive, and then I'll die to my own thing. Or I died to my mana crypt a couple of times to him in tournaments. I've died to Angel's Grace, Price of Progress. There's always some little reactive. He's like the Jose Mourinho of Magic the Gathering. He's always got a sting in the tail.
Yeah. My favorite moment, and I've told David this before, and I don't know if you remember this, but it was you, me, and Casey at Cactus, and Casey was playing
the double attack triggers?
Something, but you had the I don't remember what it was. It was unblockable, and you kept attacking Casey, and Casey kept saying, "I block," and you were like,
yes.
"This is unblockable."
Yeah.
And he had been he must have been 100 beers in.
Yeah.
But each time it was his turn, he was like, "Marshall, unblockable, unblockable," and
yeah.
But I remember like my favorite moments were always a lot of us just being wasted, and I actually think that our group is special that way, just because I think a lot of it's just from the alcohol.
Yeah.
Like as the night progresses, as the sober one, it just gets more and more entertaining.
Yeah.
David blows up. Marshall gets angry. Yeah. Whatever happens, and the night just gets more interesting as we go. Like at 10 o'clock at Cactus, it's great. It's a great night.
I've never been. I'm rarely drunk playing Magic anymore. Yeah, that was the game I kept elking.
Yeah, correct.
Casey's stuff.
Yeah.
I elked his elk.
Yeah.
He kept thinking it wasn't elk, and I kept elking it.
It was. I mean, those nights are so fantastic for me. Like, I'm going to miss that by far. Now that you're going to be in Vietnam, I hope you come back. We're gonna miss you.
Yeah, you're definitely someone everyone wants to get a game in with.
Of course.
Myself included. Yeah, for sure.
Each time you come, it's like.
Yeah. I want to play with Marshall.
I want to play at least one game with Marshall.
So that's a testament. Hopefully that can. You can show the people in Vietnam this video and say, see, they like me.
They like the price of progress with fork. The fork price of progress. Don't get angry.
Yeah. No. Plus, I think we play a lot of the similar like paths. Like some of my favorite times in Magic are right on the edge of death. Like you're at like that 1 or 2 life kind of edge. Yeah. That's my favorite place to be.
Yeah.
You know, like that. I enjoy being there, or I have something that I've donated away somehow has come back. I'm like, I'm gonna die here. Like David's always there to help me. Someone's always there to help me, which is always nice. Yeah. You know, that's my favorite place to be in EDH. You know, I think we usually sit on that like Angel's Grace line.
Yeah, I was really happy to be Angel's Graced at that last tournament, and then I Angel's Graced his Angel's Grace.
No.
Yeah.
What happened?
He like Angel's Grace. I was gonna price of progress for the win. Oh no, I was gonna Rakdos Charm, forked it for the win.
Oh, that's great.
And he Angel's Graced, and then he cast a spell which would have killed me, and then I Angel's Grace.
Oh, that's perfect.
Oh, that's lovely. What a dream.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say that time we were playing with Lucas, and we did a Reigns of Power into Mirror Weave, into Blood Arts.
Yes. That was really funny. So
I can't believe you guys brought up Lucas, which is hilarious.
That was that was a really hilarious play.
It was really funny. Yeah, Mirror Weave. Like basically, there was someone took control of somebody's board and exchanged the creatures, but then you played a Mirror Weave to turn everything into a Blood Artist. Yeah. But you had more Blood Artists.
That's awesome.
So then everyone else died except you. Yeah. So that was very funny. It was a good play.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How'd Lucas take that one?
Oh, you know, with these...
I think he took it on the chin.
In good humour.
Yeah?
This is too ridiculous.
Oh, man.
We played with Lucas on Spell Table over lockdown.
Really?
Yeah. When he was stuck out in America. I don't know if he's back now. But,
no, he's not.
It was fun. It was good.
He's supposed to come back. He hasn't been back.
He was supposed to come back forever.
Forever. Yeah. And he just hasn't made it back.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I don't know about that one. That exile's been lasting a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually, the real reason that I brought both of you here, other than the goodbye, of course, is David's always been on and on about sagas being his favorite card type.
Just love
and
sagas.
Recently, battles are a version of sagas, basically. Battles are kind of in between sagas and planeswalkers, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So, David, why don't you tell everyone what battles are doing and why you like them so much?
All right, so first of all, I like the design space.
Me too.
So the battles we've got so far are sieges.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it says battle siege indicates that down the line there'll be different kinds of battles.
Correct.
Sieges are designed for 1v1 play. And the way that it generally works is you play something on the front. It's usually like the battle, and it usually has a sorcery-like effect, like make 2 creatures or
Trigger. Yeah.
And then it flips. It doesn't flip. You kill it, and then you attack it, remove its defense counters, and then you cast the backside. So you can still counter.
Yeah.
You can still counter the backside.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So they can be countered.
So you counter. You have 2 chances to counter it. Counter it when it comes into play, or when it is exiled and then cast.
So for 1v1 play, like limited, they've been a really interesting design because you play the battle, and then ideally you've played it at a time when you can attack it, or you set up your turns so that the turn that you play it, you can attack it and get the value.
Ideally.
But some of the battles are good enough just on the front side alone, whereas some of them you really want to flip them and turn them onto the back side. The reason I think they're good for EDH is because, unlike in 1v1 Magic, siege battles are much, much easier to flip.
Right.
Than
Because you
in
can
1v1.
potentially give them to a spell slinger who cannot defend them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or you give them to the player that's slightly behind and they can't defend them. You know,
Also reasonable.
they don't want to. They want to focus on building out their board rather than blocking your battle.
Right.
So whenever you're evaluating a battle in EDH for the sieges that have come out, the invasions of, I think the best way to think about them is to look at them and think or be pretty confident that you're going to get both sides. So,
which is pretty different from how you would play them in standard or 1v1.
yeah.
Because I think in 1v1, I've talked to a lot of friends and they've said that a lot of people are kind of just evaluating them on the front side. They're not looking at the backside. The backside's all gravy. If I get the backside, great, but I'm not expecting to flip it.
Yeah.
Because it is, I mean, some of them, it goes from 3 defense counters to 7. The Alara one, I think, is 7. Like, that's that. You're gaining, you're giving them 7 life, technically, which is quite a bit.
So at that point, you've then got to, if that's true, if you accept that's true, would you play a 5 mana for a 5/5 creature with protection that gives you an extra ability whenever you play a 2-color spell that when it enters kills any permanent? Of course you would.
Yeah.
Would you pay
The
one?
one, I
Yeah.
believe.
Would you pay 1 and a red for a 3/3 spell shaper that you can discard a card to make 2 creatures and pump all your team, and when it enters, you discard a card and draw 2 cards?
That might be the best spell shaper ever.
Is that the one did you put that one into the discard? Your discard?
Yeah, yeah.
Re-up.
And that one's Invasion of Mercadia. So on the front, it's Tormenting Voice, 1 on a red, discard a card, draw 2, which is a card you'll play anyway. And then on the back, it flips into a spell shaper. So when you're looking at them for EDH, if you look at them and think you're pretty certain to get both sides.
Right.
At that point, they become really good value, I think.
Yes.
The other advantage to them is that people actually quite enjoy it when you play one. Whenever you play a battle or give a battle to someone, the reaction's really strange. It's like oh, I've got something to defend.
Yeah.
I've got a little side quest.
Yeah.
I've never been given a battle.
Oh well, next time maybe.
Sunday.
And I've seen a few people play them. I've had them played on me, and I've been sort of delighted. Oh, I've got to defend this now, and they're kind of fun. They're like little side quests within a game.
I think that's only going to last for the next couple of months. Very quickly, like the Teferi one. At some point, I'm going to be like, I'm not giving you the Teferi. I'm going to defend this.
Yeah.
What's the Teferi one?
That's one of one of the mythic ones. So
Yeah.
it's like you make a load of knights, and then it gets attacked down. It flips into a Teferi that makes emblems for knights.
It's not great, but I just don't want to give you a Teferi Planeswalker. That seems unreasonable to me. And as fun as it is to be like, oh, this is a cool thing on the table, I think it's going to get old relatively quickly, and then people are going to think much more logically after that.
But that's more of a fear of planeswalkers than of battles.
Correct.
Which is another benefit of battles is that they're not planeswalkers. They're a planeswalker, essentially, if you think about them as the anti-planeswalker, they're a planeswalker that you can attack down. Well, and people can't, I don't think yet that people have developed a heuristic, a way of thinking, a shortcut of way of thinking about battles. And also, the other thing that's good about them, I think, is they give you value, but at no point are they backbreaking. You get value off them, but nobody hates a good value creature. Nobody's too terrified of them.
How do you define a good value creature?
That Marchesa one is really good value.
Yeah. The backside of the
it's just card draw.
Yeah, it's a good card.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would give you that. I would probably defend.
But then you destroy the front part is you destroy all the creatures.
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would defend that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, you defend them if you can.
Right.
But the thing is, you give it to the player who's unlikely to be able to defend it. And also, there's a benefit there. If you're making a deal, you can make a deal with someone not to defend a certain thing. They're good if you're behind because they're a way to get value and bring you back into the game. And also, they're not backbreaking. There's no battle where if you flip it, you're going to win. Really.
No,
I think
not really.
I think probably the two strongest ones that I've played with so far that I've been really impressed with by their power are the invasion of Segovia and the invasion of Arcavios. They're both blue. They're both blue.
No, I'm just gonna start looking.
I
this
think
up.
the black one is actually quite good. The one that Marshall brought up.
Oh yeah, it's really good, but
Because
it's a board wipe.
it's a board wipe.
It's a known quantity.
Which is why I'm keen on it, because the front side's so good, right? And it's a modular board wipe, so you're also like, well, I can keep my commander, or I can, take out all the tokens, whatever I want, right? So to me, that's one of the best ones.
I did win a game the other day with a battle, and it was purely the battle because of the battle that I won it, and it was Invasion of Vryn, which is a blue one. Vryn,
Okay.
and I know the card off by heart, so I'll say it. So it's 3 and a blue for Sift. So basically, it comes in. I think it has 4 defense counters. You draw 3 cards and discard 1. And then when it flips into an artifact called Overloaded Majoring.
Okay.
And Overloaded Majoring is 1, sack it, copy a spell that you cast.
That's quite good.
So I was playing I've got a mono blue Tetsuko Rogues deck. And on that next turn, I dealt 13 damage, and I cast Notorious Throng.
Okay.
And copied it.
Yeah.
So that was 26 fairies and 2 extra turns,
That's
basically.
awesome. Yeah.
So, just innocuous looking card, like you draw some cards, you flip it, and then all of a sudden it's just sat there, and then you can just get value off it. So that's the strongest moment I've had with a battle so far.
I get you, because I feel like that. Then I understand why you're saying they're the opposite of Planeswalkers, because Planeswalkers keep ticking up, and once they hit that ultimate,
They don't. People
Right.
kill them.
Because people will go ahead and try to kill them.
Yeah.
Because that ultimate is backbreaking. So everyone's like, well, I don't want to give him this amazing thing that allows him to win the game. So everyone just keeps trying to kill Planeswalkers. That's why I think they don't do well in EDH at all. But you're saying that this thing is kind of innocuous and slides under the radar most of the time.
Yes.
And it's the anti-planeswalker because people don't want you to kill it because you get something
Also
better.
makes sense.
Yeah. So they are in the position of defending it rather than attacking it.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that does make a lot of sense.
It'll be interesting when they change battle design, so it's not just battle siege, but battle something else. So they'll probably, realistically, at some point, they'll probably make a multiplayer version of a battle where maybe whoever kills it gets the benefit or something, which I think will be interesting
cool.
as
I
well.
think so too. I think that'll happen. But I like where you're sitting, because the things that you like are kind of both innocuous. Same as sagas, right? Sagas, everyone's like, I don't really want to kill that thing because he's just gonna die on its own anyways.
It's gonna die.
Just let him have it. But each one gets you quite a bit of value. Like as it goes, you're probably gonna get all 3, even though you shouldn't. Like in my head, you should probably kill it as soon as possible. But most people don't. Most people are just like, yeah, it's gonna commit suicide anyways. It's just gonna blow up. So why am I wasting my removal on sagas? And it's very similar. Like you like something that kind of just, people are like, yeah, don't worry about it, but they should.
Yeah,
that bothers me.
Are you gonna make that Sagas commander? I saw that and I was like, that has to be made.
Well, I've already had a Sagas commander for a little while now, in Tatsunari. And to be honest, I don't think I will make the Sagas commander because I tend not to like commanders that tell me explicitly what I have to do. I've always avoided command, like whenever, for instance,
Don't tell me what to do.
like the Morph commander and the. I'll play them for a bit and I'll just get bored. The cycling commander I got bored of really quickly.
Yeah.
I like to make decks where I'm not being explicitly told how to make the best version of the deck. And also, importantly, I've had my fun with sagas and I'll probably take apart my Tatsunari deck soon, but I know other people within the group will see that deck and want to make that version. So at that point, it's good that other people get to have fun with it and I can step away from that strategy. And because it's never fun to play against that kind of deck again and again and again if you've got like 2 or 3 people building it, right? So
I mean, I'm a huge fan of the saga or the planeswalkers and the battles right now, because I think we don't do enough chip damage in general. I think the meta that we have doesn't consistently attack every turn. Everyone's kind of like holding back and then wait for that big alpha strike.
Yeah.
Right? That's our meta in general. But having something like the Monarch or Planeswalkers or Battles kind of forces people to like try to attack a little bit more often, which is I think a good thing. For design space, I think it's very good for EDH. Because I don't want to wait and just hold, attack,
Durdle.
game over. Durdle, game over. Like that's not always, the ideal gameplay. So I enjoy having a planeswalker here or there, or a battle here or there, so you can kind of just be like, we're doing this all the time, which is why we do Coveted Jewel all the time.
Yeah, it's also like
Classic.
Yeah.
you don't, there's 4 people playing a game, and there's only one person that can win that game. Like having like little mini achievements within the game, like being able to flip a battle you want to flip, can make you leave a game feeling good, right? Going back to what Marshall was saying earlier about the new players and feeling part of a game. Like if you're able, like you might not win the game, well, you might not win a game all day, and that kind of sucks, right? But if you can, well, for the people who are more, like if you feel you were in the games, that's good. But you might not win a game all day, or you might feel you've done nothing or even wasted your day. If you've done something quite amusing or funny, or that's made you laugh, then you'll go away with that kind of feeling. And I think cards like Coveted Jewel and cards like Battles, and they can do that, right? They can have that impact. It can be quite funny.
That's why I really like that Cephas dungeon deck, because people can take the initiative, and then they're in the dungeon, and they have their own dungeon deck. Yeah, you get like your own like dungeon. You're like, hey, cool, like each room is sweet.
Yeah.
I haven't done initiative ever since it came out. I haven't done it at all.
I'll bring it on Sunday.
Okay.
If you come.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, I would. I think with the initiative, I think the only thing is you just have to give everyone a dungeon. Yeah. Like you have to hand them, here's your dungeon,
Yeah,
so that they can follow.
When I played it first, you're like, do you have another dungeon card? I'm like, no, I don't have it. So I ordered them on top of right away. All dungeons.
Yeah.
So that works nicely.
It is cool to get everyone involved in the game, because I think that's the worst. Those are the worst games where someone is just sitting there, either mana screwed, flooded, or they're just not in the game, right? I think that ruins a lot of playability for the game. A lot of people are just like, well, why am I still here if this is going to happen to me? And you can't tell them, hey, you built your deck wrong. Like, you have, 50 lands in your deck, and you probably don't need that many. Like, you can't tell a new player that. You have to kind of be like, well, let me see how I can help you. Let me see. Which is why I like tutors. I like the, what do you call it?
Scheming Symmetry.
Like or Wishclaw Talisman. Yeah. Where you can help out the person that really needs it, right? I think those smooth the game along, where they're like, oh, like it helps me a little bit, but you don't even have to give it back to me. Like you can give it to someone else if you want. And those kind of move the game along in a right direction without pushing it too far overboard. I think that's
Humble Defector as well.
Yeah, it helps. It really helps the, I guess, smoothness of the group. Yeah. All right, last one. Before we go, do you have a favorite battle, and why do you judge it well?
Oh, so I mean, purely on a.
Doesn't have to be on power if you don't want.
Yeah, it's
Mine's not on power.
It's Invasion of Mercadia, because I love Mercadian Masks, and I could put it in, and I could put it in my Mercadian Masks theme deck. Right. And it fits perfectly because it's a discard draw deck, and Invasion of Mercadia is discard a card, draw 2 cards, and then it flips into a Spell Shaper. It's the perfect card for my Mercadian Masks deck. So that's my favorite. Okay. But it's not strong. It's actually quite strong and limited.
A pretty strong Spell Shaper. Like, there are some very bad Spell Shapers.
Oh yes, yeah.
And it's strong for a Spell Shaper. Yeah. Mine is the one with Grandma Senior on the back.
Oh yeah.
Which one's that one?
I completely thought that they had left that one out. It is the black, uncommon one.
Invasion of Ulgrotha.
Oh, correct.
Yeah.
And it's a black uncommon one. it doesn't even matter. It has Grandmother Sengir on the back of it, which is a character I completely thought they forgot about. Like, it's a character from Homelands, which is mostly a terrible set, and I enjoy that they're still bringing those old characters back in weird ways, and I think that's very cool. Like, they have all of these weird planes that most of us have forgotten about, right? And to be like, oh, Chandelar, like that's a weird old plane.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like a game, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if you've played that game. Have you?
No, but I've heard of it.
It isn't. It is one of the first computer, PC, I guess, Magic games, and I had it when I was a kid, and I was like, I cannot believe they brought Chandelar back. Like, that was a cool plane to go to, you know, which is why I kind of enjoyed this. I guess this card type. Marshall, what'd you look up?
I mean, I have to do the Marchese one. I think is my favorite one, just because I think it's so versatile. Plus, it's a board wipe for 6. I mean, which is just 2 more than Damnation.
Yeah.
Which is fine, and it can be it's
modular.
Modular, yeah.
Yeah.
And it gives you Marchese, which is great. But I also really liked the Finale of Devastation one.
Oh, the green one.
Good. The green one. I've never had a chance to play it, but I think it's very strong.
Yeah.
It is strong. Is it in the Invasion of Ikoria? Yeah. I think the strongest one that I think is genuinely really strong is the Invasion of Segovia, which is the one that gives all your non-creature spells Convoke on the flip
that
side.
one is good.
It's really powerful.
I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen it played yet.
Oh, it's good. It's
good.
Is it the one that gives you like 2 Krakens or something like that, or
it gives you 2 Krakens,
octopuses or something?
and then you flip it into a 3/3 that untaps 4 creatures end of turn, and gives all your non-creature spells Convoke.
Yeah, that one is very.
It's really strong.
I think the Convoke ability, just in general, is the best thing that they've had.
Convoke didn't used to be good, right?
There's a big difference between Convoke at sorcery and instant speed. If you can convoke, if you've built a deck full of instants that all of a sudden you can convoke out of nowhere with your little creatures, it's very powerful. Yeah.
I always have trouble with Convoke because I feel like it's the way that you built that Blood Avatar one, right?
Yeah.
Because Blood Avatar was so hard to balance. Either you're building a lot of tokens, or you're doing the kind of Convoke thing. Like, it was hard to balance the deck that way. Either you're token building or you're doing something with the tokens. Yeah. And sometimes you draw the wrong side of the deck and you just whiff.
Yeah.
I've felt that. I'm building Anello, the painter, which is not. I'm building it without the extra turns, but like.
That was not fun.
Wait, has someone else have that deck?
They had a tournament. In the tournament, it was just... Lionel should have just killed him, really. Should have just killed him right away. I don't know why he was spreading...
Rachel killed him in our game.
Really?
Yeah.
Should have died right away.
Who had it? Are we not allowed to say?
I don't know. I don't know his name.
New.
Okay.
Friendly guy.
Yeah.
But that deck was very strong.
Yeah.
And I heard I was in the game where he died first to Rachel and Lazav and Phage, but I did hear voluble groans from across the room in other games where it was
that was from me, Freddie.
It's like, should I not build this deck?
No, it's good. It's like
I'm building it pretty weak, so it doesn't matter.
I think it's a cool deck, but like. The copying extra turns is
that's not.
It's just not really. It's not fun to play against.
I understand.
Like copying cool spells, like whatever. That's fun. You know?
Yeah.
I commented earlier about a play where I copied an extra turn and made lots of fairies, so I can't possibly copy.
Yeah.
right.
Once in a while, just
that happened maybe 15 minutes ago.
Notorious Throng is like that's built.
It's a win con.
It's a win con.
Yeah.
It's not wheel spinning and
yeah. You don't have like a bunch of extra turns in there that you constantly copy out the graveyard.
Well, I'm thinking about copying Worst Fears, so we'll see.
Which one's Worst Fears?
It's where I control your turn.
That's funny though. That's a funny move.
But we'll see how it goes. But again, I'm having trouble balancing how many token makers and then how many cool spells and stuff like that. And I'm going to have to goldfish it a lot before I get it out.
Yeah.
It is funny, isn't it, when you make a deck that's different to the other decks you've been making. I've recently made Sarkhan Dragons, the new Sarkhan.
Okay.
And goodness me, I can't seem to get it right at all. Like
Because it's not what you're used to playing.
I'm not used to like my turn is play a big dragon and then watch it die.
Right.
It's not my usual. It's not my usual strategy. Yeah. I'm enjoying it. I'm losing constantly, but it's you know.
You should give Yiming a call out in Hangzhou and be like, hey, Yiming, how are you doing this?
How do you play big stuff?
How do you be? Yeah. Okay. That's my last one. Thank you both for coming. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Marshall, great luck in Vietnam.
Yeah, you guys come visit. We can
sit in the
that
pool.
Barbara. Pool
Pool
podcast.
Oh.
Sit in the pool. We can't play Magic there, but we can sit in the pool and hang out for a bit.
They got a cabana over there. You can play in the. Yeah, I'm down.
Magic tour to Vietnam.
That's
I'll
not a
go for
bad
that.
idea.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. Everyone, bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Do, 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 do.